there, I'm Kai Monroe. I'm a transition worker for Bright Futures Upbeat Project, and we help support young adult carers to enable them to thrive, to reach their aspirations, to build their confidence and their resilience so that they can go out, face life's challenges and really succeed and achieve in life regardless of their caring role. So this video is just a short video to introduce you to some of our wonderful young adult carers that we have within our project, and to raise awareness of the amazing work that they do, how many skills that they develop throughout their caring role, and also the challenges that they face, and also things that could be changed to help them and support them even more. So have a watch, enjoy, and please do get in touch with us if you have any questions, if you know a young adult carer that could benefit from our services, or if you'd like to help in any way. Many thanks. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Alex. I've been young carer for as long as I can remember. I recently transferred from Devon Young Carers to Bright Futures due to turn 18. And this is my story. Me and my 4 siblings are all carers for my mum, who has a disability that's still unknown. I went through my secondary school years getting bullied about being a young carer. I had to say no quite a few times to friends to going out because of responsibilities I have at home. Being a young carer has helped me mature myself much quicker than anyone else would, and that's how I got to where I am today. Even though I've only been part of Bright Futures for just over 2 months, it's helped me a lot having there someone I can talk to, and the regular Zoom calls we do with everyone, and it's given me a chance to talk to people that do the same job as I do. Tracy is also a Bright Futures adult, and she's helped me quite a lot in these last 2 months. She's helped me do a CV for my future job, my dream job, and she's always been there if I need to talk to anyone at any time. There is people out there that don't understand how tough being a young carer actually is. It's not just helping the person you care for around the house. It's helping them get dressed in the morning, helping them do the dinner. It's helping them get a bath, helping them get in and out of bed. When my 2 youngest siblings were younger, I had to help them get ready for their day, whether that was going to school or whether that was just on the weekend. I had to get them up, I had to get them bathed and dressed. And it's also tough saying no to friends to going out because of the responsibilities you have to do at home. I've personally coped really well with being a young carer, but I know there's people out there that do struggle. When I first started being a young carer, I did find it hard saying no to friends, but I got used to it. It is hard, but you will get through it.
Bright Futures have given me the respite and time out of my house, going on trips and places I've never been before. I've made friends through Bright Futures and had one-to-one mentoring with Kate and Michelle. I've had training that can go onto my CV, like first aid at work and paediatric first aid. Bright Futures has always been on my side and have helped me grow as a person and in confidence, having someone to talk to about absolutely anything. They recognise how difficult life can be for me and have helped me out of a difficult situation.
Hello. For me, being a carer is really important. It's changed my life and the way I look at things. It's not always been easy. It's been really difficult. It's put me through some really difficult tasks, and some really difficult emotions have arisen. The skills that I've learnt through it, though, are phenomenal. I'm able to cook and clean and care for myself and care for another individual in need. I wouldn't say that I regret it or I would never do it again. It's definitely an experience in my life in which I treasure. It may have not been one that I wanted to do, but one in which I felt like I needed to do. It's definitely benefited me as a person. I wouldn't have been myself without my caring role. I love the person who I care for, which makes it a lot easier. Sometimes their behaviour has been hard, which has taught me again a load of skills of how to deal with situations, one of which are being emergencies, one of which being mental health, and one of which being able to maintain a situation. For myself, it's been very difficult. It's given me a lot of good memories and bad memories in which I've had to sort of go away and process and work on. But with Bright Futures, that was something I found very beneficial. I was able to be in a situation where there was other carers, other people who had experienced what I'd had experienced, who I could give experience to. The Bright Futures made me feel very normal. And I say that loosely, but it made me feel like it was okay. To be a carer was okay. To go through the things that I'd been through was okay. And there were other people who had been through the same things. It gave me a group of people which I could rely on and I could feel very comfortable on. And they gave me lots of classes that helped me with personal problems, financial problems, sort of life tasks, and social events. Got me out of my caring role for a moment, just to relax, until you jump right back into it. But definitely, Bright Futures have always been there for me, which is very, very reassuring, and I'm very thankful for that.
Hi, my name's Katie and I used to be a young carer. And in my caring role, I had to learn a lot of life skills and understanding to be caring and kind to other people. I have a lot of talking skills and a lot of knowledge on how to be a carer. I also want to change about how college can help more about understanding how hard it is being a carer, and trying to keep up with studying is quite difficult, as being a carer and you go to college and then you're going home and you don't really get much time to study at home. It's quite difficult, especially with how much pressure they put onto you. So it would be really nice if they could understand more about what caring roles are like. Also, I would like employers to understand how hard it is to go to work and try and concentrate on the job that they've given you and everything else when you're worried about the person that you care for at home and how they are and what they're like, how they're doing on a daily basis. So it's quite difficult to be an employee and studying at college.
Being a young carer has always been part of my life. I was first considered a young carer when I was 9 years old, along with my sister, as we both cared for our older brother who had severe learning disabilities. I would say, growing up, I always thrived on the role as being a young carer. I've always been very sensible. I've always thought of others, and it's just been part of my life. All my friends knew about him. I was never given a hard time. I was never bullied for him. So it was he's always been one of us, and don't get me wrong, we've had good days and bad days. I suppose we've always had to think of him before anything else. So when we go out or go to, so for example, if we go to the supermarket, or we go to social events, or we go on holiday, we've always got to think about how's Alex going to react in a certain situation. It could be any situation, it may not even happen, but we've always got to think, well, how is he going to react? How is he, you've got to think ahead. What if, and sometimes he's unpredictable, and sometimes he's not, and sometimes he's fine. So you've always got to be prepared, I think. And sometimes it's hard to get out of that thinking, particularly when you have a break. I found it really hard to have a break from my caring role, and it's just sometimes it's it's a relief and I can help, and sometimes it doesn't help. You still got to go back into it, but then at the same time he's my brother and it's the norm, so it's you've got to have a balance of it, I think. I believe lockdown was the hardest thing though, the hardest challenge for us. He had to stay inside. He had a very active life before all of this. He was very sociable, and then when all his clubs closed and he had to stay indoors because he was clinically extremely vulnerable, that was hard for him, and you could see a change in his behaviour. For us, staying at home, we've always had to be there. We didn't really have much of a break from each other. When you're stuck inside with anybody, you get to the stage of, you just want your space, or you just want to leave, and you've just had enough. And sometimes it's brought us together. So it's it's great sometimes, and but being at home for a long period of time didn't help him in the slightest. Yeah, it's don't get me wrong, we've had some fantastic, we have good days and bad days. The good days is like when he achieves something, or he says something which is brilliant, or he says something quite funny, or I noticed with Alex, he's very emotionally mature. So, like for example, considering he's non-verbal, like for example, if you're upset, he will know you're upset and he'll come and comfort you. He will put your arm on you, he'll hug you, he will try and make you laugh, and you can just tell him all your secrets and he won't tell anybody. So it's I've just pleased to he's my brother and I love him very dearly. I would say to help with my workplace, I work in hospitality, where you meet a mix of people every day. You meet lots of different people, you speak to lots of different people. I would say part of this caring role helped me because you get people with disabilities come in, and I suppose the way that I interact with them is very different to somebody who probably hasn't experienced that. Not being generalisation here, but it's like, for example, I grew up learning Makaton, so Makaton has always been part of my life. Sometimes we communicate to Alex through Makaton, and at work, if a customer doesn't quite understand, we can do Makaton signs. I can speak much slower, and I can repeat stuff. And I think as well, like for example, because of Alex being very, very sociable, you meet people, you meet Alex's friends, their carers, their siblings, so you get to know people and it's a wider community. I would say that I've got more responsibilities and it doesn't really faze me, I think. It has been a challenge over the years, but I would say it hasn't, regarding work, I'm probably much more sensible and I can empathise with people much more than probably somebody who wasn't exposed to that. I would say Bright Futures for me was a great between services, particularly in a hard time of our lives, and communicated our between services, between myself and other services, or managed to find information, or have able to speak to people for me if I couldn't speak to them, or and had regular contact. So they helped me through some great things. Helped me get back to college, and just helped us as a family, which I am extremely grateful for. So it's my caring role has obviously is going to evolve and change over the years as Alex gets older, but we've got that support around us to help us.
I've been a young carer for my mum for as long as I can remember, and as difficult as it was, it's given me so many skills to take forward. I now live on my own and I'm able to run my own home and cook for myself, as I did all these jobs when I lived at home with mum, and I'm also now very independent. Joining Bright Futures gave me a chance to share my experience with other young carers, get any support that I needed, and most importantly it reminded me that I'm not just a carer, I'm a young person that deserves to have time off from their caring responsibilities. We always have fun, but you know you can always go to any of your support workers if you're struggling. I'd like to see young carers be more recognised in education. I couldn't always get any work done at home because of helping my mum, and I very often had to explain myself to teachers, especially at college, because they hadn't kept a record of me being a young carer, even though I'd asked them to. I'm extremely grateful for my experiences and very thankful that I've had bright futures there for me all the way.
Bright Futures helped me to become confident and to believe that I could achieve more than just being a young carer. I love being a young carer, but I'm glad that I've learned that there's more to life.
Being a young carer for me made me feel very isolated. I didn't know of anyone who also had a parent or someone that they looked after. So it made me feel like I was entirely on my own and that I shouldn't feel down about the fact that I had to care for people. I was watching all of my friends go on days out with their family, which I was unable to do because I couldn't just get my mum up and be like, right, we're going out today. If we were going out, we'd have to plan it days ahead. So it just meant that there was a lot of things that we missed out on as kids. Then I got approached by Carewise and they gave me a community of people that were along the same lines as me. They had people from that cared for anyone. Like, there was so many different people, and it just gave you a community of people that could slightly understand what you were going through. This then went on to Bright Futures, and Bright Futures, especially for me, gave me a place that I was allowed to feel however I felt in that day. Especially going through the mentor program, I honestly feel like my mentor taught me so much about it was okay to be the way I was and feel the way I was about everything that was going on in life, and that gave me something. It gave me a bit of hope that it didn't matter how I was feeling or how anyone else was or what I was doing in life. It just meant that I was able to have some time alone where it was time for me rather than for anyone else. For me, being a carer has taught me so much. Instantly as a child was put into doing everyday chores that most people my age hadn't done. I was basically helping run a house, and that has put me in leaps and bounds ahead of most people my age. I also feel personally for me that being a carer, it's taught me not to judge so quickly. I understand that people can be going through stuff that you don't necessarily see, because I've personally been through that, and I find that having people around you that are irradiating goodness just helps allow you to see the better in people. Also, I feel like I've been very fortunate in the fact that I have very good people skills, because since I was a child I've had to help mum with the bills or answer the phone or write letters to people or whatever, just trying to get some help with mum. So for me, I feel like being a carer has helped me so much in my adulthood, and likewise with Bright Future. They've helped me in a sense that I've been able to go on to university. They've shown me that actually it's okay to do what I want to do, not only what I've been expected to do as a carer, and that has been my personal safety net, and it's been incredible to be a part of this whole organisation. So yay.